Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, hopefully I can cover something here, how to win 40k, 6th edition, and we're going to talk about points awareness. Now previously we've already covered secondary mission objectives, and we've covered primary mission objectives as well. So yeah, go and check out those videos if you haven't done so already. So what is points awareness? Well, basically it is exactly what it says. It's being aware of the points and where they are. What I'm trying to get you into the mindset is right from the beginning of the game to analyse where the points are that you can score, whether it be primary objectives or secondary objectives. Obviously secondary objectives, as I said, we've covered that already, but things like getting first blood, denying first blood, how you're going to get line breaker. Are you going to be able to get Slay the Warlord? Are you going to be able to deny Slay the Warlord? That type of scenario. You need to be thinking about those right from the off, and basically being aware of them and keeping them in mind. You need to have that plan. So right from the beginning of the game, I want you to think, am I going to get first blood? Try and get your first blood. So that's 1 point. Maybe you're not going to get Slay the Warlord. You can see maybe you're up against Mephiston or something. So you basically just ignore that one and just make sure that you don't give away your Slay the Warlord. And then line breaker, what units are you going to keep in reserve? Which units are going to maybe a bit more defensive, just so that you can get the line breaker? Do you have swooping hawks there that you don't have to worry about? They're going to come down and get line breaker. So you can almost bank on those particular points. Have them in the bag. Keep counting them as you go along. Once you've got that, then look at secondary objectives. Primary objectives, sorry. So you look at these and think, right, okay, so there's, say, 3 points here, 3 points here, 3 points here. So let's say I'm going to get 2 secondary objectives. So if I give my opponent 1 objective, he can have that. That's 3 points. And then all I've got to do is basically hold 1 objective here, which would be 3 points, plus my 2. That gives me 5. So you're being aware straight away that you can just get this 1 objective, let your opponent have this one, and all you have to do is contest this one. Because if your whole army has a plan just to contest, that is so much easier than having a plan to hold an objective. It's much more difficult to go out and hold an objective than it is to contest. Especially if your opponent is trying to hold an objective and you're only trying to contest it. It makes life a lot easier. So yeah, being points aware really right from the beginning of the game all the way through, keeping track of those points. I mean, write it down if you have to. Just being mindful really of how many points you have, how many points potentially you might be giving away, and how many points you need at the end of the game to win. 5th edition is pretty easy because it was just single objectives most of the games, okay, apart from victory points of course, but they were single objectives, and it was just a case of, okay, well, if my opponent has 2, I need to get 3, that type of thing. Slightly more complicated now because these are variable amounts in some missions. Then you have secondary objectives, and being aware of the points basically that you and your opponent have during the course of the game, rather than maybe waiting till turn 4 and think, oh right, well let's tally this up, oh, I've got first blood but I've lost Slay the Warlord. Oh dear, I've got no fast troops left to get line breaker, and then just like adding it up at the end of the game. I mean, that's useless to you. You need to be prepared, you need to plan. Just like you plan to do your army list, plan where you're going to put your objectives down. You plan how to deploy your army. You also need to be planning right from the off how you're going to win the game by points. Okay, that's it for this little video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully it was useful. More to come.